I believe, if I may be old-fashioned, I believe there is such a thing as a search for beauty. What's up YouTube? It's Martin from All About Street Photography channel, and today I would like to talk about American photographer who helped to shape the New York School of Photography. Someone who is said to be a pioneer of color photography, the man searching for beauty. Let's talk about Saul Leiter. Saul Leiter was born in Pittsburgh, and it seemed for a long time that he would go in a different direction than being an artist. Influenced by his father, he studied to become a rabbi, but he left the theology school and moved to New York at the age of 23 to become an artist. He actually got his first camera, which was a Detrola camera, long before this time from his mother. At first he actually wanted to become a painter, and when he came to Manhattan, he enrolled in art school. His early paintings were full of color and inspired by expressionism. In his classes, he befriended Richard Pusset Dart, who was a painter, as well as William Eugene Smith, American photojournalist. It was actually Smith who encouraged him to pursue photography. He spent the majority of his career documenting the neighborhood of Manhattan's East Village, but he also shot commercially. He worked for fashion magazines such as Vogue, Elle, or Harper's Bazaar. And even though those photos are pretty good, you might be wondering why I picked Saul and want to talk about him. Saul was not only doing photography for work, but, as we can say nowadays, for pleasure. He found liking in this search for beauty on the streets. Unlike many photographers at that time who shot mostly black and white, he liked to shoot colors and used his unique perception to utilize them. As we can see, he was more interested in shapes, light and colors than people's expressions. He said, "I was more fascinated by raindrops on the window than taking a photo of a famous person." When characterizing the themes in his photographs, I would say he liked to shoot umbrellas, different kinds of weather, such as heavy snow and rain, and also greatly used the negative space that gives his photos a kind of minimalist touch and abstraction. Sometimes when you look at this picture, I feel like you are not immediately aware what the subject is. That's also something that kind of defines his style, as many people would label it as abstract expressionism. He was looking for colors on the street in subjects such as red umbrellas, yellow taxicabs, or traffic lights. When we talk about negative space, this reminds me a little bit of the style of another great photographer, Van Gogh, who I have talked about previously. Van Gogh used over and underexposing together with cropping to isolate his subjects, while Saul used negative space. I like to think about that as about two completely different styles to pursue similar results. Or maybe it's just me? Let me know down in the comments. When we get back to Saul's use of color, he has been often referred to as a pioneer of color photography. He liked to shoot colors that complement each other with not too much saturation. It's also good to mention he liked to use old and damaged film, and that also helped him to shape his, I would say, finishing approach of his color photography. In this great documentary that I recommend you to watch if you want to find out more about him, he said his life has never been driven by fame or money. So what I felt when I watched that was he wanted to make art, and he wanted to make it only in the field he was interested in. I would also like to give a shout out to Ted Forbes. He has also made a video about Saul, which I will link to in the description. He has incredible reach, and whenever I'm searching for someone, somehow there is an art of photography video about that person already. So check it out. Anyways, I hope you liked today's video and learned something new. It is always inspiring to see someone's body of work with completely different style to cover a similar topic, and that makes me want to go out and try out all those techniques I have just seen. I'm going to do that and post some photos to my Instagram, so if you have an account, feel free to check out my photos. Let me know in the comments what is your favorite picture of Saul. If you liked the video, feel free to give it a like. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.